Hello YouTubers, this is cessnaace back again with another My Comic Book Collection video. This is going to be another extravaganza. The last time I did an extravaganza, it was because every comic that I showed in that video was based on work by Anne Rice, so it was an Anne Rice extravaganza. Well, this is going to be an Archie extravaganza because every comic that I show you is going to have Archie Andrews in it. Unless you're really good, in which case I will throw in a bonus comic at the end of the video. Now, we start off in 1991 with Volume 1, Issue 393 of Archie. Now, some of my Archie titles in my collection go all the way back to a cover price of 12 or 15 cents, somewhere around there. Now there's a gag on this cover. Archie is holding a copy of this issue. And if you look close enough, the comic that he's holding up, he's holding a copy of the same issue. However, there's not much detail. What do you expect for $1? Now, I bought this new back in the day. So none of the coupons have been clipped out or anything, and the puzzle has not been worked on. I buy my puzzle books separately from my comics. Still in 1991, messing around with the Comics Code Authority seal of approval. However, by Volume 2, which I do have issues of Volume 2, they dropped that seal. Alright, that was $3.93. This is issue $3.94. Still $1. $3.95. $3.96. There was an actor that was working quite a bit in the 60s, especially on television in the US, that looked a lot like Mr. Weatherby. I don't recall his name. However, I do remember that he was in an episode of Gilligan's Island. Yes, I'm a fan of that show because ever since I hit puberty, I've been a big fan of Dawn Wells, who played Marianne Summers. Alright, issue 397. In that episode, the actor that looked like Mr. Weatherby was a butterfly hunter. Issue 398. Now, when I was a kid growing up in the 60s, we had a lawnmower like that. And by the 70s, we had one that was very similar to that, except it was self-propelled. It was self-propelled on one wheel. It had a little drop-down gear or something that came down on one of the wheels and propelled that wheel. So if you weren't pushing it with some force, it would make a turn. So Anyway, issue 432, and they've moved the seal for the Comics Code Authority over there. Issue 514. Just double checking. Yeah, I skipped quite a few issues there. My collection skipped. I haven't personally skipped, so never mind. This is issue 522. $523, and in case you're curious, the cover price is now $1.99. Issue 574, cover price $2.25. What's funny about this cover is that there's a new series now called Archie Married 10 Years Later, or something along those lines. I've subscribed to it at Things from Another World. I just haven't received any issues yet. I'm curious to see who he married. And if you know, don't tell me. Alright. This is issue 630. It's a variant edition, which means there was more than one cover. Archie meets Kiss. Now, the first time I showed this comic when I was doing 15 comics videos, which are no longer up, I could only find one cover variation in my collection. However, I do have two, but I seem to remember there were more than just two. Alright, issue 659, and the Comics Code seal of approval is already gone. Oh well. Now, I debated on whether to move this issue to the top of the stack when I took the photo for the image for this video, the avatar, or whatever you want to call it, because it's a celebratory cover, so to speak. But I decided, no, I'll put the first one that I was going to show at the top. This is issue 662. $663. And lately, Archie Comics has they've signed some kind of deal with Dynamite, because you have Archie characters appearing with characters from Dynamite, Red Sonja, Vampirella, that sort of thing. And after one miniseries that I've ordered, well, I've started actually, I've received the first two issues of Red Sonja and Vampirella Meet Betty and Veronica. There's a follow-up series now. I think it's a follow-up series because it is something like, I can't remember if it's Archie or Jughead versus Vampironica. So I'm wondering if Vampirella Bit, Veronica. 664, Game of Phones. $665. All right, and that is the final issue that I have of Volume 1. However, we move on to Volume 2, and Archie Publications correctly lists the volume number in the indices, unlike DC and Marvel, which frequently don't do that. They just start over with the numbering, but they don't up the volume number. In fact, these days they don't even list a volume number. Alright, this is one that has a various number of covers. It's a variant edition. It is Volume 2, Issue 4. I thought I went through and moved all of my duplicates to separate bags and boards, but I missed one. So after this video is finished, I am going to place this one in its own bag and with a board. Now, with most comics, especially those from Marvel and DC, you can't tell the difference between, say, when they reboot a series or just simply start over on the numbering. You can't tell a difference in art style, but you can with the Archies. Beginning with Volume 2, the look became different. Alright, this is Issue 6 of Volume 2. Now, for some reason, with the Volume 2 issues that I have, on a lot of them I have duplicate copies. This is Issue 7. And this is Issue 7. Only have one copy of Issue 8. 9, sorry. However, with Issue 10, I have an additional copy. Issue 11. And Issue 11. Issue 12. And Issue 12. Issue 13. And Issue 13. By the way, I'm only counting the comics that have duplicates on. I'm only counting them once. The only time I make a exception to that is if they have different covers. issue 14. And issue 14. Issue 15. I don't know if Riverdale still runs on the CW, or if they canceled it. We have a CW affiliate here in Jacksonville. The CW, for those of you who live outside of the U.S., was formed with the collapse of the UPN network and the WB network. And CBS, which acquired at the time the UPN network, they had to dissolve it for FCC reasons. Well, the CW was named after the WB and after CBS. Although I don't think it has anything to do with Warner Brothers or CBS. I might be wrong on that, but you might be surprised to learn Jacksonville has an affiliate for every network, even the smaller networks like MyTV and the CW. This is issue 18. Wait a minute. Issue 16. And it says variant, but I don't have a different cover. 15, 16, and 17. So I should have shown 30 different comics. Now, since you were so good, actually, I was just trying to figure out how to a way to show the free comics that I have, the comics that didn't cost me anything, without making you feel ripped off. So they're a bonus until I run out of them, in which case I'm thinking of perhaps pulling a comic from way in the future and showing it. But then that would create a hole, unless I pick an issue from a series that I don't have a run on, a run of several consecutive issues. Anyway, this is called Resurrection Spotlight X-Men Gold, number 1. Two copies. This is apparently from 2017. I say that because just a slight clue there. All right, now I've kind of made a decision to change one little thing, one little aspect. Currently, when I get comics that come in from Things from Another World, new comics, I have been showing them those that fall within the alphabet that the area of the alphabet that I'm currently covering. trying to sound as lucid and as understandable as possible. Anyway, I had originally planned on, when I was doing the 15 comics videos, of waiting until I had 15 and then showing them all at once in one special video. Well, I'm going back to that idea, as when new comics come in, I immediately record a video and post it as a Patreon exclusive at cessnaace, at Patreon/cessnaace, link in the description box. So this way, well, you won't have to wait 10 years for me to get to Vampirella, for one thing. And my Patreon supporters already haven't had to wait, because I've already shown the most recent one that I got there. Now let's see. Last time I shouted out Patreon supporters Mark McElligott and Graham, because I do know that they like my comic book videos. However, I received an email from Atari Age that 2 games that I recently ordered, one for the 2600 and one for the 7800, have shipped. So this time around, I'm going to shout out some gamers who have channels and who are Patreon supporters. Alex is Playing, Bamser, spelled Bamsey, B-A-M-S-E. Also know him at highscore.com. By the way, Bamsey, if you're seeing this, then the site administrator for highscore.com has returned. That'll mean something to him. All right, Corporal Van, who used to be known as, I believe, Corporal Calico. And then I don't recall what kind of videos SkyMall is into. However, SkyMall does have a channel, so you could check out all of these people's channels. And of course, as usual, I will put in the description box a list of all of my Patreon supporters, and the ones with the @ symbol to the left of their name have a YouTube channel, and those with a # don't. All right. Until next time, stay awesome.